In this presentation, I'm going to be explaining the OPCVL method for source analysis. OPCVL is a technique for analyzing historical documents. Its purpose is to show critical thinking, to place documents in historical context, and to draw conclusions from those sources. We usually deal with two main types of sources: primary sources, which are sources made in the past. These include letters, journals, interviews, speeches, and artwork overall. And we also have secondary sources. Secondary sources are sources made about the past. This is basically taking primary sources and analyzing those sources, talking about the past as if it already happened. Analyzing the perspectives of the past would also count into a secondary source. This includes textbooks, journal articles, websites, commentaries, and documentaries. So, beginning with the OPCVL format, we're going to be talking about origin. Origin is where does the source come from? So, when you're analyzing a source, you need to ask yourself who created the source, who's the author of the source, what type of document is it, who is the author, when and where was it published, who published it, what medium is it if you're talking about an art piece, anything special about the author that is pointed out in the source, and any historical significance. Here you're going to be talking about the New York Times, you're going to be talking about the name of the journal article where something is published, you're going to be talking about a magazine, you might be talking about an art piece that is published in a museum, etc., etc. Second, we go into purpose. Why was the source created? So try asking yourself, why did the author create the source? What was the author's purpose? Why did the author choose this format? Who is the intended audience? What is the key theme of the source? And what is being achieved in the source overall? Authors will try to inform. This is true for newspaper articles. This is true for journal articles. They might try to achieve some controversy if the article is, or if the source is biased. They might be reflecting on a specific topic, and we have to take into account the thematics or the concepts behind that. They might be trying to express an emotion. If they're trying to do so, they're going to be using pathos, ethos, or logos in order to build that emotion to its fullest expression. They might try to educate, or they might try to raise awareness about a specific issue. Again, this will all be evident usually in the introduction of an article or a newspaper clip. Moving on to content, we're going to be asking what is the historical context of the source. Here we're actually looking at what the source is. So first we're going to be asking what is a specific historical time period from which the source is taken. Who is involved? We're looking at leaders, peoples, groups, societies, the actors that are actually doing something within that specific scenario. Where is this taking place, and what is the historical relevance of the author or the source in terms of its impact? And finally, let's talk about why is this historical event taking place? So if you're doing an art piece, you're looking at the actual content of the art piece, analyzing the lines, colors, compositions, figures. If you're doing a journal article, you're looking at the introduction, the conclusion, the findings of the source itself, the central argument of the source. Moving on to value, we're going to be asking how is this source useful to a historian? In terms of value, think of what is important. What can be inferred about the author? What can be inferred about the time period from the source? Does it reflect a particular ideology? Does it represent a particular side to history? Is it a victor side? Is it a losing side? Is the source controversial in some sort of way? I mean, if we're talking about the Luther's 14th thesis, 99 thesis, then it's definitely going to be a controversial source. Is the source accurate or reliable? Again, this is going to be based on whether it's like a type of blog, if the source is backed up by analysis, if the source is backed up by other sources, if the source has a bibliography, or if the source is a primary source. Finally, we're going to be talking about limitations. what should historians question about the source? So contest the source. Try to think about if the source is accurate, if there's issues with reliability, if there's anything left untold, or if there's omissions within the source itself. If we need to verify the content of it, if it's just an opinion, or if it reflects an ideological or political bias, or if it's something inaccurate about the source, if it only paints one side of the picture. So this is all. You're going to be using this for any type of source out there. You can analyze this sources this way. It's key to analyze it in IB history in this way, so you get a full holistic evaluation of the source. However, there's other methods as well. You can look into the RAVEN acronym for source analysis as well.